We're here inside TCO Studios alongside Vikings General Manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. And Kwesi, it's been 3 years. This is your third draft pick. And how's your comfortability changed since that first time you went on the clock as the Vikings GM?
It's interesting, because you only do it once a year, there is some level of newness to it all. It almost liken it to a quarterback who needs to get hit the first time before they, settle into a game. You haven't done it in a year, and we practice, we do all these simulations, but it's not with everybody in the room, all those different things. So there's a little bit of adjustment period when you first get in there, but then you settle down. Just lessons learned from multiple drafts before, how teams interact, different things, different positions that you think will be available later in the year, just knowing when you want to work the board, knowing that, hey, we should take this player here because I feel confident that he'll be available later because we have all these projections and just your own institutional knowledge. Just continue to grow. I hope as long as I do this job, every year is better than the year before it in terms of our process leading up to it, and I think it was. I set a tall goal for the team this offseason, and I always want to start this by being super grateful to them. These people spend a lot of time away from their families for the benefit of the Vikings. I asked them to do a lot because I thought it was a big, kind of watershed offseason for us, and that was always in the plans in 2022. We knew that this was going to be kind of a turning point for us, and they met the challenge. I'm super proud of the group, and obviously that showed itself on draft day with our process.
What was that goal?
I can't say specifically what it was, but just in terms of team building, there's certain teams. We kind of group teams into two types, and I would say that I told the group, hey, we can go either way with this. So if we're going this way, this is exactly what we need to accomplish. These are our resources, and this is what we need to do. It's just like I told the staff the other day. Life, football, team building, business. It's about identifying where you are and where you're trying to get to, and how do you close that gap. And within that gap, it's just options, opportunity, and hard work. And that's what we put in. And when you have an opportunity to add a Grenard who fits a certain thing that goes in your gap, you do it. When you add a chance to add Sam Darnold, and then in the draft, knowing what you can add with the depth of that class in different areas. Again, I look back and just really it's crazy. Sometimes me and Kev will look and laugh. You look at all the things you wrote down, and you're like, man, we did pretty well with our goals. And ultimately, those are just names on a chalkboard. And you still got to go out every day and work and figure all that out. But we're excited about that. But team building is eternal. I'll probably go back to my office and figure out what need to be better at, and I'll continue to do that.
What was it about this year, back in 2022, that made you feel like it was going to be that watershed moment?
Yeah, just looking at the roster, the players on it, just their experience, just from a salary cap standpoint, where we were projecting ourselves to be if we wanted to compete, and rebuild at the same time. I won't use those two words together again. But I think it was just kind of knowing in 2 years, kind of this is where we're going to be. These are the decisions we're going to have to make critically, and then this is what we'll do. And, you always want to give yourself outs and options. And so, hey, look, if we went this way at this position, we'd have been able to do these things. And we went this other way, we did these things. And again, fortunate to execute a plan. But right now, again, those are just plans and optimism.
As you look back, it's crazy. As we record this, we're just under 7 days a week from when you went on the clock for 2024. So what has it been like to decompress from that class over the last 5 to 7 days?
I think I've gotten that question a bunch. I don't know if people realize, for when the season ends till about now, it's full on just team building and different things like that. Now it comes to running an organization. We've got a lot of people, staff who, have different ambitions and, obviously contract stats and different things like that. So now it's just really getting your org structure in place, getting your process in place, being thankful to the people that did so great for you, and planning forward. So there's not really a ton of time to decompress. Sunday I did get to sit on the couch with my son and my wife and just watch basketball, and there's been some great basketball series going on, and maybe I'll make sure I get to a yoga class. I haven't been able to go to a yoga class in a year. I'm very excited to go to my first one. But the summer is really where you get that time to decompress and sit and think and look at water and be appreciative. We work hard here, and don't get it twisted, but I'm just super appreciative of the opportunity we get to do it because we love it. I don't think I'd rather be doing anything else, and just always just trying to be grateful when I do get that time to decompress.
You alluded to this a little bit ago about the way that you build your roster. That's just, it's 24/7, 365. You don't really turn off from that. So moving forward, you have your pieces from your draft. You have the 17 new undrafted free agents. Where do you go next? What are you looking at, if you are at all, at the free agency market, or how does that go?
You're always looking at the free agency market, but I think and I think I said when I first got here, the best thing that you can do is know your roster better than anybody else. And it's not just always, what else is out there, what shiny things are out there. Well, maybe you have a shiny object in your building. So every OTA, I ask our group to study practice and see, hey, how are our young players taking the steps that show that they might reach the ceiling that we thought 2 or 3 years ago when we first drafted them. A lot of it's just fact finding and information building about the players we have in this building, how they're working with their coaches, how they're working on the field. And then you're always paying attention to opportunities outside on the market. But those are things like you can only control so much. You can only control when somebody picks up the phone or things like that. So I choose to control what I can control, and that's knowing every player in this building as best we can.
I feel like the hardcore X's and O fan has probably watched your press conferences on every draft pick, and you guys have talked a lot about why you picked who you did. So for maybe those fans who haven't checked out, the minutes and minutes of pressers, I wanted to play a little rapid fire game where I'm going to give you the name of the player. You give me like 1 to 2 sentences on what you like most about them.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to break it up by unit. So we're going to start with the offense. J.J. McCarthy.
The ability to overcome play context from an arm talent, pocket poise, pocket movement, and an athletic ability. Culture bearer. Some odd combination of joy and a dog.
I love it. Walter Rouse.
Sky's the limit. Extremely athletic in a short area, athletic and powerful in a short area. A lot of times people are born with that, that mindset to finish, and I think somebody you watch in their career really grow into that. And he's a late developing bully, but he's a bully nonetheless.
Okay, Michael Juergens.
Technician. His precision on the field matches his mathematical major. Functionally athletic for the position. Smart, tough. Just the boring words that people throw at O linemen that you love on your team.
I'm going to take a little bit we'll take a break before defense. I was really curious as to what you like. So, are you attracted to those guys that are very cerebral and intelligent? Because you've got these guys who Walter wanted to be a surgeon, goes to Stanford, and then Michael has an MBA. These seem like really intelligent guys.
No, we first start. Obviously, we get character information from our scouts, but when they give me, they cultivate a list for me. I don't know anything about them, right? So the first thing that is always going to be me drawn to them is their play.
Yeah.
And certain things you look for at O-line are, in the run game, can they execute their blocks? How often they execute their blocks correctly? Can they move people? Can they get out in space and do things in a range on a range basis? Do they sustain and connect? Long runs typically take people staying on bodies longer, so the running back has more time. Just really simplistic things. I don't know that that he wanted to be a surgeon. I did know that he was a Stanford. Then he transferred to Oklahoma, and I think I teased him on his phone call. You see yourself a Stanford guy or a Oklahoma guy? But then we do ask. We try to figure out learning and how much does football make sense. And there are different things like that, and those things do typically come in as a why, but it always starts from the what, and the what is the film. What are you watching?
That's
what are
fair.
you seeing?
That's fair. All right, defense. Dallas Turner.
Man, explosive young player, long, just basketball background shows up in his play. One of the more cerebral edge players we've ever talked to. Just a perfect, versatile piece for Brian Flores.
I love that. Kyrie Jackson.
Check your chicklets. That's a phrase we used to use in basketball for a guy who wants to get up in your face and and guard you a little bit and talk about it. That's the type of guy mindset you love at cornerback. We call it delusion here, the ability to compete on a third down, knowing that these aliens on the outside are probably going to beat you, but that next rep is mine. That real belief. The rest of us, and I would say me included. When you get beat, you're a little self-aware, and you need people who almost aren't that self-aware and just line up at the next play, and he's one of them.
Levi Drake Rodriguez.
And another guy, another unique. The first pick we made and the last pick we made, a unique combination of joy and dog. idolizes Kobe Bryant and, has that same mindset of waking up early in the morning and trying to be the best version of himself. He's taken a liking to pass rush, and you see that work ethic in his pass rush, incredibly accomplished at a young age. And really the sky's the limit, small level of competition. So we're going to see him adjust to our level athletically, but he's put on weight. He's got the mindset to it. Really excited to add him.
And Will Reichard.
Will Reichard, a kicker with a great mindset. And obviously for that position, it is about accuracy. And, the task that they're assigned to do is kick field goals from certain distances. And he's one of the best in the last 15 years in our metrics. And then also you talk about a mindset, though. So what separates that position, just like a closer in baseball, the person who shows up when there's 3 people on base and the whole crowd's going against him and he walks out with a smile on his face. You ever watch, when I was younger, I used to watch closers and be like, there's got to be something wrong with those guys, like in the best possible way.
Right.
So we look for kickers in a similar sense that kind of look at that chaos. I always picture like the Joker, when he's walking in the street and all this stuff happening around him, and he's that's what like a great kicker mindset I feel like is, and we identified some of that in Will.
I love it. I will ask my final question. Is there a song that you think defined your 2024 draft experience?
That's too good of a question. I'm supposed to ask the good questions.
I like to always end with the music and the music
man.
analogies. I feel like that kind of plays with our fans,
Man, gosh, that's such a good question.
Was there one that you listened to a lot?
I did, so a lot of the guys I see, I obviously asked that question of them.
Yeah, I stole your question. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's no problem. JJ chose One Love, Bob Marley, and he's very consistent with his message and how he leads through love and relationships, and that is his superpower. And I think that was a great one. Another one, Indigenous Life was the song by a guy. You talk about where we come from being a source of pride and passion, and he had it in spades, and it affected how he played. And we all have something, our why, our passion, or something that gives us purpose for when it's tough. We're not going to back down. We all have something, and for him it was his culture and his upbringing, and I obviously connected with that. I feel the same way about mine. So those were 2 experiences I can talk through. I do need to make a play. I should make a playlist maybe.
We should share it. We should share it with fans. I think they'd be interested.
But obviously some of them are on other teams now, so maybe we'll keep it just the Vikings. But it's a great way to connect with guys.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll never forget, with Dallas, we're in there listening, and I love when guys connect with music. And there's a couple lines he says. He's like, you hear what he's saying? Like, this guy's giving you wisdom. And it's 10:30 in the morning. I probably haven't slept in a while, and I'm like, trust me, I hear it. It's just the energy might not be as what you need to be, but it's a great thing. I will. How about, can I rain check you on that one?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
I think the answer is very sufficient.
Okay.
It was very good.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your time, Kwesi. We really appreciate you. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the 2024 draft class.
Thank you.